So we are looking at question 4 on the AQA English Language paper, November 2020. In order to understand this, you would need to have read this extract or probably watched the videos I've done on actively reading the extract in Language Paper 1. Because as I've said before, when I read through the extract, I highlight for questions number 3 and 4. So I've got a lot of pre-annotated or pre-highlighted information here. And what I'm going to do now in preparing to answer this question is I'm going to try and put this all together into a little bit of a plan for how I might approach the question. Just to remind you of the question, it says focus your answer on the second part of the source from line 24 to the end, and I've copied and pasted, I've reproduced that section here for you. Sorry I can't do it on the screen today. And then there's a statement, and as I said before, the way in which this statement is set up will change slightly for the 2025 exams, but there's a statement which says, I wasn't at all surprised by the disappearance of the stranger child at the end of the extract. The writers left us in no doubt that she's just part of Rosie's imagination. So it's an evaluative question. To what extent do you agree? So you've got to decide, do you agree? Do you not agree? Probably it's wise to agree, at least to a considerable extent, but you may wish to come up with some kind of counter arguments as well, and I will have done that in the annotating. So in brief, to pass, you can say, well, yes, it's definitely true, the writers left us in no doubt that the child is imaginary, of course she disappears, and you can find some evidence and explain how that supports that statement. But for the top answers, we really want a more nuanced approach. Yeah, so we want to have some agreement with the statement, but we also maybe want to look at what kind of speaks for the other side of the argument, if you like. So I've got some evidence here that the little girl was sitting on the back on her heels beside a clump of daisies that grew against the fence. Now, for me, that makes it seem that the little girl's kind of quite vivid and quite real, yeah? So we've got quite a vivid and real description of the little girl. Again, some people will do this in their head, yeah? You don't have to plan it out on the paper like this, but you might want to. So the little girl appears very vivid and real. How do I know this? Well, you got the kind of the description up here. Okay. Then what else have I highlighted? Cara seemed unfazed by the girl's presence. Well, so Rosie's own children don't notice the girl, so she's kind of unnoticed by Rosie's children. So for me, that kind of suggests that she's not real. Yeah, not real. Some evidence for that. That's not there. Okay, what else? Well, the girl's wearing an ankle-length dress or costume. Pinafore in washed out greys and tans, like a homemade Cinderella costume. Well, Cinderella costume, that seems a bit strange, doesn't it? If she's dressed like Cinderella, it makes it seem like it's a bit of a fantasy. Yeah, she's wearing all this old-fashioned clothing. So again, drawing a little arrow up to that. So I've got a couple of ways in which maybe the girl is made to seem unreal, fantastical. I've also got maybe a sense that she is vivid and real. Can I find anything else to back this up? So where on earth has she come from? She must be a neighbour's child, but how had she got in? The fences that separated the gardens were much too high for a child to climb. Okay, so fences too high. What else? Okay, Rosie is oh, not Rosie, the child, sorry, is glancing over her shoulder, quick furtive movement, afraid of being overlooked. Rosie caught a glimpse of her face, pale and drawn with anxiety, animal-like in her movements. Well, I mean, for me, this is more not real evidence, is it? So she's pale, like a ghost. She's kind of animal-like, or possibly not human. Okay. Something wasn't right here. Rosie turned away, dried her hands hurriedly and slipped on her flip-flops. She would go gently, raise no challenge about her being in the garden, but say hello and try to find out what was the matter. Oh yeah, this was my evidence. This was my evidence that the girl might be real, because if there were a ghost child in your garden, then probably you want to kind of panic, get your kids out of there, but she's just going to sort of approach this in quite a calm way. So calm response from Rosie. Okay. And then you got this final line, but when she stepped outside, the child was gone. Okay, that seems a bit dramatic and sudden ending. So you got the sudden ending there as well. Okay. So really, I've got a couple of ways in which the girl is made to seem unreal, and maybe some hints that possibly she could be a real person. So I am probably going to agree mostly with the statement, but with some kind of worries or caveats or challenges to that approach. And here I've got a little plan. Yeah, I can say there are some ways in which the girl might appear real.